All right. The doors are open. The doors are officially open to LOBA Ancestor. This is our seventh LOBA, and 3 out of the 12 spots have already been taken. I just want to share a little bit with you about my relationship to ancestors and how this work has radically shifted my life. I want to begin with this really important thread of ancestors, which is that we have different kinds of ancestors. Okay? We have ancestors who we have a soul connection to. They're a part of our soul lineage. We have blood lineage ancestors, right? Some of which are our guides, our protectors, some of them of which we receive some of our deepest medicine from, some of which we also receive some of our deepest pain from, like the pain that is carried through the stories, the body shapes, the gestures, the ways of being that are encoded in our body that we received epigenetically through our bloodline, through our bones, and we are carrying these things that feel often like not even ours, right? But we're holding them and they're really old and they're like inside of us. So a lot of the work that we do with ancestral healing is we are really sitting with and clearing some of those imprints that we are holding. We are liberating the sensation and the feeling of pain that has been carried in our cells, in our blood, and we are rewriting a new story. We are creating something entirely new, right? And this happens through, like, the way that I guide this is through the multidimensional experience of ceremony. Ceremony, multidimensional ceremony is embodied ceremony that is deep in the body that collapses time and space. It's this energy of being both the elder and like your baby self and your past life self and your past life self and your future self, like in your ancestor, like you as an ancestor self, all at the same time, because you're communing into the language of the soul. I'm speaking to this, I'm giving this language, but I just want to be really clear that this is when you experience this is felt sense. This isn't something that is accessed through the mental plane. This is something that you experience in your body. This is something that you experience when you really go down and do soul work through ceremony that really touches into the deepest parts of you. And LOBA is the permission space. LOBA is the permission field. She is the frequency of going to these places that on your own can feel really intense to go to. And so this is one component of the work, right? And then the other layer of the work is retrieving our relationship to the soul ancestors that have been with us for a really long time. They're part of our lineage. They're part of our soul lineage. They are our allies. Like for me, one of mine is, I have this guide, this protector of mine, the serpent here. The serpent has been walking with me for a very long time, as has the wolf, right? There's certain plants that I've always had a certain kinship with. And it's not just like, it's not a surface level relationship. They are a part of my makeup. They are a part of my medicine that comes through, that when I open my medicine wheel, when I open myself and I'm doing my work out in the world, or what you sense even from me just here, right? You are sensing these different threads that are woven inside of my soul. That is what you are receiving. And so our medicine, like when we're connecting with our ancestors, Yes, we're going to meet the shadows or the hidden components or the distortions of what's there, what's buried, but we're also going to retrieve the medicine. And the medicine is what carries us forth. The medicine is what is needed, not only in these times of immense catalyzing change, but in a time where, so many people are like getting stuck in the same place, feeling like they cannot move forward with their lives, feeling like they're disconnected, feeling like that door is entirely shut, feeling like the relationship to like their soul is staying on the surface, or their ancestors is just like not actually, it's just like not actually really guiding and moving their life. And so they're like looking for satisfaction, but the way that they're trying to find that satisfaction is through something that is like empty. It's like a hungry ghost. This is shifting into a different kind of beingness with ourselves. And for me, right, this was like I was dragged into my own relationship with my ancestors. I was really initiated in ways that gave me a lot of trials and gave me a lot of harsh medicine so that I would open my eyes and actually see and listen and change. Like really begin to change from the place of revering life, change because we are here to live, right? It's not healing for healing's sake. It's not healing as a sport. It's not healing as something that is just like just another thing to do. It's healing so that we can actually be more present in our lives. And when we feel our own sense of disconnection, what happens is, out of our own need of protection, our small self, which shows up through our body shape and how we operate, feels like we feel like we need these different masks and patterns and behaviors because they are protecting us from something. We feel like we need them because they are protecting us in some way from having us not need to feel the deeper thing that doesn't allow us to really give of ourselves to life and show up to life. And this is why this work is life changing. Because you will really see, you will really see, you will really get to know all the ways that you are from often a very unconscious place, subconscious place, again, through like that likely did not even begin with you, is lifetimes old, subconsciously are shortcutting your life, your reception to life. And so the work with the ancestors is opening in a way that allows us to actually remember the truth of who we are, what we're actually made of, and to settle into that. To actually feel that depth of connection within that allows for us to live more undefended. Living undefended is not I will let anything in and have no boundaries and have just like pure leaks. Living undefended is I trust myself. I trust myself. I trust God. I trust life. I trust the initiations, the loss, the devastations, the different aspects of life that are going to come in, that are going to occur, that are out of my control. I trust myself. to really meet life in all of its fullness, because I'm choosing to meet myself in all of my fullness. LOBA is the journey where you begin to shed some of the falseness that you live inside of. Women have left really long-term relationships when they weren't based in truth. They've left jobs, they've moved places, they've shifted like how they walk through the world. They've gotten more vulnerable, they've gotten more free, they've like been smacked by truth as well. Like there's such a different array of how this journey will impact you and how it will feed your life after LOBA is done and after we're done with integration. Because it will, like during LOBA, we work deeply with embodied prayer. And those prayers then have the spaciousness to breathe and to begin guiding your life. And so sometimes it's like we don't in the moment quite see immediately. Like we receive the imprints in the moments and we we touch these spots. But what's so powerful about LOBA is like the way that it actually on a really deep level shifts your life in these ways that over time you really, really sense and see. So I invite you to come back, to return to, remember this relationship with your ancestors, this relationship to that medicine that has always been there, and those gifts, that power, that life force that maybe at some point in your life you got afraid of, you didn't trust, and your protections came on, which happens to all of us. It's just like literally a part of what we came to this earth plane to learn. It's part of what we came to learn. We have to have that teaching. But the powerful part of it all is that we actually also have this opportunity to liberate. And we have to begin with, frankly, first and foremost, for ourselves. Not because our thread, our part in the web doesn't matter, but because for us to give truly, it has to come from the deepest place inside of us. It has to feel like we first can receive and embrace whatever medicine it is that we are bringing forth. There's a rightful selfishness, if you want to call it, of like, this is your life. This is your life. This is your expression. This is your ability to like really, really be here in fullness. And so it is a huge gift to give yourself this initiation. And it ripples out into the greater web, into the greater whole. Because what we know about initiation work, right? What we know of rite of passage work is that point of that maturity into like true adulthood, which to me is more like really living from soul as guide, is that we have our own sense of sovereignty, of our own personal relationship to spirit, God, life, whatever you call the divine force that is woven in everything. And the way that you really have made your own acceptance with death that permits you to really live. It's such a personal journey. So, LOBA, Ancestor, it's a big one. Ancestors have always been a part of LOBA. Always. Like, that's one of the biggest things. One of the women said that she's like, it feels like being at LOBA feels like being carried by like hundreds of grandmothers. You feel this primordial ancient essence, like the lives that you have walked all being present at once. So it's a big thing to hold, to give room for. So when the ancestors come, it's strong. I'm not going to bullshit you. Strong energy. It's confronting. You're like, oh, wow. I've been in such an idea that it's like just me. And, you know, we're taught to be arrogant in that way. We're conditioned to really, really be tapped out of this connection. And so when you forge that pathway of connection, you're like, holy fuck. And it can really bring up a lot physically, emotionally, energetically, right? It's like, whew. And so this journey of LOBA, the seventh LOBA, it's coming up. Doors closed February 17th, is really about you deepening or beginning this, like really, really beginning or deepening in a whole new way your relationship to these ancestors. And my life is like a night and day from me being in this connection and the way that it brought forth parts of my aliveness that before I was so stuck and small and ashamed and in rejection. Because when we're in rejection of our ancestors, soul and blood, we're in rejection of ourselves. And it's like, as I started to actually really, really revere this relationship, different parts of myself started coming online, like soul retrieval. So this is what I'm guiding you towards. This is what I'm guiding you into. Okay? Doors closed February 17th. When we begin a month of preparation, then we come to Mexico, here where I live, in this gorgeous jungle. And we will be here March 17th through the 22nd. I recommend you get here at least a couple of days before, and if you can, a couple of days afterwards, and to just integrate and kind of prepare yourself for the acclimation of the energy of this place, which is a strong, dark, feminine portal. And then we then follow up with a month of integrating these different threads. So this is what I'm inviting you into. And you fill out the application. If I feel a yes to meeting with you, we then get on a call, 30 minutes, and that's our next step. And then you come on in if you're approved, and that's how it goes. We have an incredible LOBA team, and we're really excited to bring in new and returning LOBAs to this LOBA. So if you're called, if you know that this is the journey for you, if it kind of scares you, it's a good sign. LOBA does ask for a sacrifice of some sorts. And that's like a very personal thing to you. Like it won't always be just like very easeful. It might be for some of you, but sometimes it's like there's things that you have to really confront and rub up against, and that's the initiation, like carving you. That's part of the path. We got to get out of this. If it's not easy, if it's not right thing, we got to get out of this entitlement with God, this like princess behavior with life. We gotta really step into not the like endurance and like it has to be hard to be true, but it's like the pose of receptivity and like willingness and courage to meet the initiations, courage to meet what it is to really see ourselves. Okay? See you soon.